Greetings, church. Once again, it's Kevin Duclairon, and it is Sunday, the 31st of January, and this is my second video today. The first video that I completed was sermon number 20 from the Gospel of Mark, and you can probably find it at YouTube with this one. I just came back from Imago Dei, the church that I usually visit. Melinda urged me to go there this morning, and so I went there unexpectedly. And the pastor that was teaching was Rick McKinley, and I sat in the back seat in the very, very back, but I was directly in front of him. So I was all the way in the back, but sort of like a mirror image of where he was at. He was talking about First Peter, and I guess they're embarking and going into a series in First Peter. I'm ending my series in Mark, probably in the next couple of weeks or so, but they're starting a series on First Peter. And I went in and got a cup of coffee. It was really weird because myself and this other gentleman got off the bus, and he was trying to run to get to the church, but it's almost like I felt like he was trying to get there before me. And so all the time I'm walking, I could feel his spirit just, just, and he finally did pass me, entered the church, and grabbed one of these. I think it's one of these. I'm not sure. Let's see. Was it this one or this one? There it is. Grabbed one of these, and you can see I drew Rick sitting there, First Peter, and I guess this is a video of apology, because I'm not exactly sure what to conclude. The other day I went to the U.S. District Attorney's office because I woke up in the morning and I had my left shoulder here bruised, or sometimes I wake up in the morning and I have my cut here in my head, and cut here and cut here and cut here, cut everywhere. And these cuts are being done by Gabriel Franklin, as you know the story. I'm not married to Gabriel, okay? I'm a single black man, Haitian man, mixed with Cubanism somehow, third generation. And I told the people at the U.S. District Attorney's office, the woman I had spoken to was Michelle Karen, and she basically took the information and says she would pass it on to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I later spoke to Nicole Miller, who was, here's Karen's card, okay, here's Miller's card, and here is the incident number. And basically I had called it in to try to file a report for abuse that was done to me in this apartment, and gave them a poster, this poster here, and also gave them I gave them this poster here of John MacArthur, his congregation, and also this word right here, repentance. And then I also gave the U.S. District Attorney's Office this incident report, this incident report here, basically number 17, explaining where the hits were on my shoulder. You can see the drawing there, and there was also a cut on my back. So it's a full page report. So I gave them this, and I also had given them this. And what I explained to them is that MacArthur and Franklin have been hitting me at work, at home, and also at church, wherever I go to church. This man here, right? Him and her have been hitting me, and they won't stop. So I need someone to basically help me with this situation. So this woman, after speaking to the receptionist, it says his name was Christian. He looked more like a Gabriel to me. And there was another man that came, very big men. They were like 6'5", very big, bigger than I was. I had to look up to them. They came out and they, they passed me off to Michelle. And Michelle is about 5 foot or so. And it was such a drastic change, from a 6 foot tall, and then a 5 foot tall person. It was like, whoa. And according to this card here, she's the U.S. Department of Justice, District of Oregon Financial Fraud Unit. I don't know. I wasn't there for financial fraud. I was there for this, right? For what John and Gabriel were doing. So I'm not exactly sure how she's going to be able to help me. But this case number here, if it supposedly should start a investigation, but because I'm dealing with John MacArthur, it may not lead to anything, That's just how it goes. So anyway, I had probably mentioned while I was talking to Michelle that I was hit on the church properties and probably hit at Imago Dei twice in their gym by Gabriel in the winter while I was a homeless person. I don't remember what I said. I just divulged everything as much as I can, because when you're talking to the federal government, you got 5 minutes to put it on the table, and then that's it, and then they're gone, and you'll probably never see those people ever again. So I probably just might have mentioned it. I don't know. I sort of forgave the church, and and it wasn't the church's doing. It was they have the homeless shelters when it gets too cold in the winter, and all the shelters are completely filled with places to sleep. Like the Salvation Army will go to churches, or they'll go to places where they have ministries, and they'll use open rooms to shelter the homeless. I was a homeless, and I've been a homeless off and on in this city while I've been dealing with Gabriel and John MacArthur and the gay community, and I guess the Klan. And so they had opened up their gym for shelter, and so I went in. It had nothing to do with the church. I went in and stayed in the shelter in the gym with everybody else. On 2 occasions, I was assaulted there physically, sexually by Gabriel while I slept there. I think I might have mentioned it to the staff. I don't remember. I just picked up my stuff and walked out because I was so humiliated and embarrassed that, it happened there. And I think the reasoning is that I'm clinically dead, but there's no proof, right? I don't have any proof that I'm dead, and there's no reason for these people to be coming to my body at all hours of the night, leaving cuts and piercings and, bruises on my shoulders and pain on my genital. And, it's like, what are these people doing all that for? And so that's why I offer apologies, because I'm not exactly sure what's going on when I'm asleep that's making these people do this. It's kind of odd that an old woman would fancy me at her age to literally use me openly at home and publicly, knowing that I'm a preacher and a man of God. So I'm sort of like on the border of what's really going on here. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, this morning, last night I was trying to play catch up with the ministry, so I did a lot of work, and I spent all night long writing the sermon, and it took me 6.5 hours to do it. And yet I preached it in 1 hour, and I probably made a lot of mistakes, and I do apologize, and then right after that, I had this, I've been trying to plant a church, so I came, I ended the sermon this morning at literally about 5 minutes after 9, ran downstairs And of course, there was no one at the table. Nobody in the building is interested in the ministry that I'm doing on account of this situation here. And so they're not interested in God or anything that I'm doing. So it makes it a little bit difficult to sometimes to keep up with the work. But that's what God tells us to do, and I don't have a full-time job as a result of it. Anyway, long story short, I went over to Imago this morning, and I've even written it down on here. I wrote it down on here. Look at what it says on there. Sorry, brother, don't mean to fall asleep. Right? Sorry. So I wrote it on there. And so it's not like, and it's like, and look right above there, it says, Lord, I'm falling asleep. I am exhausted. So, I started doodling because I was so tired to try to keep myself awake. And apparently, I'm not exactly sure if the coffee was spiked. From what I was told, Melinda says that the coffee was spiked. And I'm thinking, why would the coffee be spiked? But as soon as I sat down, right, and I think on 2 occasions, I nodded off. I woke up and I nodded off again. I woke up and I nodded off again. And then the last time when I woke up, I was like, oh no, they came out, right? I felt pain, like needle pain, in my hands, in my fingers, like somebody had stuck needles in my fingers. And then I also felt like a tingling in my genitals, like somebody had been down there either pulling it or doing that. And I thought, oh, this is so embarrassing. And here this man is sitting there preaching his heart out, talking about 1 Peter, and this is what's happening in the very back of the church, right? The very back row. And so there are people on the right, people on the left, and I'm thinking, oh man, I hope that didn't happen. But I couldn't help to think, right? What if it did? It seems like church continued, because it's happened twice before in the gym at midnight when none of these people were there, right? So this is church. We don't expect stuff like this to happen in church. It's like, do I go up to the pastor and apologize, ask for forgiveness? But the thing is, I don't know if anything happened, except for I just felt the pain in my hands that wasn't there when I walked in. The pain or the tinkling in my genitals that wasn't there when I walked in. And most pastors wouldn't disclose this stuff to you, but I am, because it happens in the open, and so much has happened in the open that I can't keep my private life private. Not if somebody comes to me in a church setting, unzip my pants, take out my genitals, and start doing one of these numbers. And it's happened before in another church, in a Baptist church. And so if an old Haitian woman like Gabriel Franklin is stalking me everywhere, and she's on the intercom everywhere, and she's being used by John MacArthur in the gay community to give me oral sex while I'm asleep, I have to say something to the public, and I have to be open about it, and I can't hide it behind closed doors and act as if it's not happening, because it's going to be, eventually I'm going to get hit. I'm going to get killed as a result of it, because of the humiliation that you Americans, while you're doing your Christian thing, here comes this guy who has a load of people following him, and he's not even aware of where they're at. And they're there to wake him up. And the process of waking me up involves sexual immorality and hits. And then whatever John does to bring back the spirit. That's what I'm figuring. I don't know for sure. So anyway, when I thought about it, I'm like, well, is it possible that I was brought there on purpose to be hit for a third time to end my fellowship with the community, because I don't really have a strong fellowship with the pastors and the leaders of the church. I don't really have a relationship with the head pastor or any of his staff. I know that there is an engineer that works here that reminds me of him. And the other day on my way to Mr. Peep, I think it was, I ran into a guy in the at the bus stop who reminded me of him, and he was a homeless man. And and I had this this here, and this Bible here, and I was working or starting to work on this message here, right? I was starting to work on this message, and I thought, okay, so I was sitting in one of those bus terminal booths at 99, and I was on my way there because I had gotten a lot of food from next door. What's the name of the church? St. Stephen's. They were passing out food, and I was told that I needed to go there and do that. I'm not an American, so when they tell you to do that, okay. And it of course, when I got there, nothing happened. Nobody wanted it. I got hit several times, and it was that night that I got hit here on the shoulders. I want to show you something. I had gotten after I had gotten the food, I went home, and I think it was Melinda or something indicated me that there was a this what is it called? This cabinet in the back by the dumpster. I needed a bookshelf to put my stuff in the bathroom. And when I went there, it was dirty, it was filthy, pieces of wood, and it was just disgusting. So I figured, okay, well, I'll take it, I'll clean it, I'll mend it, and I'll restore it as best as I can. I'll use it, right? Because it was still standing on its toes. I'll show it to you. So anyway, so with the food and with the cabinet, I thought, well, you know what? I better cooperate with them as a community, because that's the kind of community that they are. And after fixing it and mending it, this is what it looks like. Okay? It doesn't close here. This wasn't here when I had gotten it on Thursday, when I brought it in here. This was here. This wasn't here, right? It was all filthy and dirty. And as you can see inside, the drawer is not there, right? The drawer is not there. Look carefully. The drawer is not there. The drawer that's supposed to be here, right? It's not here. And so it's just a connection. And if you look at the bottom there, right there, it's apparently it had fallen off or ripped out. So anyway, I had taken it out of the trash to restore it, and I left it here. And so I went over to. I had spoken to that man, and there was another one of them who came out, and there was another one of them who came out, and I think it was at Mr. Peep, and he spoke to me briefly, and we went our separate ways. We didn't have anything to say to each other, and then that was it. So I was thinking to myself, well, what is going on here? So today I go to the church, and I'm thinking, I don't understand the community. You understand? The community finds people who resembles people that I know, or that I know of, or that I knew, and they bring those people to me, and I'm supposed to recognize them. And the problem is that even though I recognize them, I don't understand what it means. Does it mean that the person himself has sent me this representative, or why am I looking at a man that reminds me of this man or this woman? You know what I mean? And so I don't know the community. I don't know the standards of the community. So I don't know if this morning's event were part of my imagination, if it was a direct hit. But for those people who were there and who saw whatever they saw, Melinda convinced me that nothing happened. Kevin, because I hear her and I hear Gabriel, nothing happened. Don't worry about it. All is well. And I'm thinking, why is it that I don't feel like everything is well and nothing happened? Right? So I get on bus number 12, and I'm eating chips, and this chips that I had gotten, and these chips that I had gotten here from next door, from St. Stephen's on that same day, and I had a sandwich in here, and so I was eating it just to redeem the situation, and sort of walked away puzzled. And this woman comes on the bus, and she's enraged. She's pissed and she's looking at me with the dirtiest look, and I could feel the hate coming from this woman. And I'm like, and it's not a hate, it's a hit. So there's a hit coming. And I'm thinking, I wonder what the hit is. So I get off the bus and I walk home, and when I walk in, I go to use the restroom, and somebody pissed in my bathroom. And I'm thinking, well, if it's not the first, it's the second. So there's another hit coming, probably again tonight. And I'm thinking, why would Gabriel, John MacArthur, and the gay community do this, right? If he was on the stage, obviously he had nothing to do with it, but the community uses church leaders and uses men who look like church leaders to falsify that these people are either doing things or these people are communicating to me using men or women that resembles them. So all of that, I'd like to apologize to the church, because I don't think that was a church thing. I think that was a gay community thing. They have resentment against me. After preaching that message this morning, coming from Mark chapter, I believe it was 12, verses 1 through 44, and I had used some extra biblical notes. It seems like they were hissing, at what I had done, and I had overheard that I need to do the work over again because it was all choppy and nobody really understood what I was saying. So, but for the record, I do offer an apology to the church, because I have whenever I go to church, I go there with as clean hands as possible. I don't go there to to do anything to your family, your church family. I don't go there to scope out your children and take advantage of them, like I talked this morning about the scribes who took advantage of widows. I don't go there for that reason, for that purpose. I go there to worship, and sometimes I can't even worship because my spirit comes up, and it's sort of like, I feel like it throws the church in a different direction than what they're doing up there. So I keep my mouth shut and I just mumble, and so I want the church to have a clear understanding that I am dealing with the issue. I'm dealing with it through the police department. I'm dealing with it through the federal government, the U.S. District Attorney's Office. I'm dealing with it at home, right? And I'm dealing with it at work. I mean, I'm still employed with these people, but I haven't been on their property since the 11th of December. So truthfully, can I go back to work after all that has happened and the reports that I have put in against MacArthur and Franklin? It's not like I'm not dealing with it. I am. This is the man that I think you Americans probably want to go back to and find out what his motive is for doing some of the stuff that he's doing on your property. Why he's doing it, through the community or indirectly using Gabriel Franklin, through companies like this, through apartment complexes like this, even the church that I just had this, I guess, little incident with this morning. And of course, nothing became of it. Nobody said anything. I just quietly walked out, and that was that. I think there might have been a cautionary action on my part, or there might have been a warning there about who I invite to my home. And I want to remind Grace Community Church that I used to live with the men. I used to live with Grace Community Church men. There was never any sexual contact between me and the men. There was never any immorality between me and the men. I didn't sleep with them. They were just my college roommates and my seminary roommates. I've rented apartments with them on several occasions, and I was insulted this morning when it was mentioned that, and the way it was done, it was sort of like a warning to me of something that had happened in the past with Sullivan. And I want to remind the church that the Kevin Duclairon that they knew on Grace Community Church property is still the man that I am today, except for this man, he's the one that's out. It's not me that's out. It's him that's out through your gay community and through your clan, assaulting me on my home property, and assaulting me on the job and assaulting me at church. So it's not me per se that comes with an agenda. I don't even understand why he's still involved in my life. I mean, once they gave me the 4-page letter, I thought the relationship was over, and I moved on. I don't actually have an agenda to go back to Grace, to reassociate myself with the Master's Seminary. I don't have an agenda to pursue Melinda. That was a 1997 faux pas on my part. And from what I know, she's married to Corey Welch, and they have 3 beautiful children, and they're just living it up in Southern California. So as far as I know, I don't have an agenda to go back. So I don't see any reason why he's even indirectly in my life, on the intercom here. As far as Miss Franklin or Mrs. Franklin is concerned, I no longer have a relationship with her, so I don't really understand why she's tagging along with him and doing the things that they're doing. If you want to resolve this and it has a negative effect on your business, on your church, in your apartment complex, the government, unless the government is the one assisting them, I don't have anything to do with it. So I just want to tell you guys, those of you who've known me from the past, that you know me, this isn't me. I don't get on national television, or I don't get into internet to just divulge all of my personal information and let everybody know about my sex life, because I don't really have a sex life. And if somebody shows you videos, photos, and all of that stuff, it's me being coaxed or forced or prodded by the community and this guy right here who appears to be apostolic and very doctrinal and biblical, but on the backside, the man has issues. He has issues with African men. He has issues with African leadership. He has issues with internationals marrying white women. He has issues from here to kingdom come. Just think of all the issues of the 1920s and 1930s, that is in him. And so, guys like me, he'll eat for lunch, with issues and problems. He'll devour me and destroy me and sort of like crumple me up and, throw me away. So, not to be the tattletale, but to clear the air, I had no intention of that happening today. And I'm talking to the church. And for the community's sake, I would venture that they would take a different position with me. I'm not really interested in having any kind of relations with any members of their community. If I go online and I take pictures, it's because I'm trying to avoid that kind of relationship, because I don't see myself with an African woman who is not a Christian, but who represents a gay American man who's a Klansman. You understand? I don't believe in that. I believe in the marriage relationship that God has outlined here in the Bible. And so I'm not going to be inviting, if I invite someone over for coffee, it's because I'm protecting them and I'm protecting myself. I'm not trying to get into anybody's pants. I mean, if I need to, I don't go for guys to begin with, but if you ever see me in those places, it's because the community, the gays, the Klan, the African Americans, the slaves, the subordinates, the subjugates, the police department, the government, it's those people that are nudging me and prodding me and threatening me to go in there. It's never voluntary, and so I don't know if this clears the air or not. I'm still going to be here in Portland doing ministry as best as I can. I know that as a Haitian, my work is not going to amount to anything, whether it's generic work or not. I think what Christ did on the cross, I think that's probably about the most generic thing any Jew could do to save his skin and the skin of his people. I don't think you can go any more generic than that. And to get the hell beaten out of you, to be crucified and to have thorns sticking out of your head and nails in your hands and feet, and to be pierced on the side and spat on and beat on and mocked and ridiculed and then murdered, and then of course we call that our salvation. I don't think you could be any more generic than that. So, for what it's worth, I put the case before you. If ever I'm in your establishment as a church and something like that is about to happen, I give you full permission to put an end to it. Not the idea of me being woken up, but the sexual assault that has to come before I'm awakened. You know what I mean? If the church could not allow that physical assault or sexual assault to take place, and allow the prophet, apostle, brother, preacher, pastor to just lay their hands on me and wake me up, that's fine. I don't need the sex. My body doesn't need the pain, nor does my life need the insult. You know, if any church, if I nod in a church, you're allowed to shake me and say, hey, Kevin, wake up, you're falling asleep. You know, but the idea of them automatically claiming that I'm dead, and even if it were true, you know, partly clinically, you know, I don't think the needle is what's waking me up, right? I don't think the needle is what's waking me up, or the sex that is not waking me up. So I say the best thing to do is just maybe nudge me a little bit and say, hey, you know, you need to wake up because you're falling asleep here, and it's just a church service, or you're at work, right? I don't know where 2016 is going to bring me in terms of work. I've already put out some applications. Some applications I had to come out on, and I think I might have updated you on that. You know, and so, you know, I've put out some applications and I've given some resumes, but for the month of January, it has not led to anything. February is now tomorrow, and I don't know where that leads me. So keep me in your prayers, church, and you know, watch the videos candidly. See if God would put it on your heart to keep me in your prayers always, because I don't have anything else going on but just the ministry, and these people here. I don't mean harm against any of them, but you know, sometimes my mouth gets loose because I want to. I don't have a way of hitting her back. You know, I don't have a way of hitting Gabriel back, and so I curse at her. You know, wish her she was dead, and you know, wish that she got hit by a tow truck or something. You know, because you get tired after a while of waking up, and you get bruised arms and bruised legs and cuts and piercings. And you sort of kind of lose respect for men like John when, you know, when you feel the violence that's in his heart, and you feel the hate, you know, that's like right there. And you know, it's like, that's somebody I used to immolate, but now look at what's going on between this man and I, and publicly, right, in the nation. Anyway, I think I've said more than enough on the issues, and you're all updated now. And I guess that's it. All right, let me pray and bathe this in prayer so that no one ends up getting killed and hurt as a result of some of the things that I've you know, disclosed here today. Father, I just want to thank you for an opportunity, for this opportunity to talk to the American church, Lord, and to the people. And I don't really have anything against any of the churches, like Imago and Grace Community Church, but Father, I am concerned about some of the treatment that I am getting, and when I black out, and I don't know why I'm blacking out, and I can't put that on anyone. So I pray, Lord God, for healing, praying that you would heal me as well as others that may be going through what I'm going through right now. So Father, I pray that you would be with me, and you would also be with those who have to deal with my clinical death, if that's what it really is. Pray that you would show them another way to wake me up if they choose to, and if it is my time, and Father, I pray that you give me courage to just accept the fact that I'm a dead man, and that my time is up. May you continue to may you restore me back to my life, and may you bless the church and all those who are ill in it. May you provide a healing for them, and may you strengthen them. In Jesus' name, amen. So, I guess that's it. All right, don't be afraid, guys. I'm not gonna jump your bones. I'm not gonna rape you or anything. I don't do that. Okay, I'm still a Christian, you know. So, don't be afraid. I'm not gonna do anything to you. If the word is out that Kevin Duclairon is out there to snatch us and rape us and make us flies and we're dudes, no, I'm not. I don't think he'll ever come to that. At least not on my part. Right. Anyway, you guys have a good rest of the week, and enjoy your February. You know, I think this is the month that's coming up where you're probably gonna need a Valentine. So in advance, happy Valentine's Day.